Hi folks, welcome to the second part of the Glasgow Fruit Market spreadsheet. Last tutorial I got you guys to create this spreadsheet from scratch. So we done the headings, the colours, some formatting, put some borders around the tables. No data yet. We formatted it some more, added the quarter headings in, and then you guys completed it with the data, the figures for the fruits that were sold in the Glasgow Fruit Market. We done some totals for the months, so we totaled at this side, and we also done totals per fruit, per quarter, totaled at the bottom, and this figure here is a total for everything which is the first quarter, and we done the same for the second quarter, and third, and the fourth. Get the idea. And at the bottom we have a grand total of all the figures, or a total of the 4 quarterly totals. So this tutorial I want to show you how to create charts, but not only create them, to understand the data a bit and understand what's being asked of you when you're creating a chart. Charts are very easy to create. I mean, I could just choose this first quarter data here and insert column chart, and there I've got apples for January, February, March. So in apples I've got 3 columns, one's for January, one's for February, one's for March. Same for bananas, oranges, kiwi. Quite a difficult chart to look at. Rather than having the 3 months totals, I would like just the 1 total. So let me show you that. If you look here, let me just explain that a bit further. For apples, I've got 3 columns. And if you look, if I click on these columns, the blue one is January, the red one is February, and if I click on it, you'll see March changing to red. This one, now March is red, it's showing me what it is. Yeah. To get rid of a chart, click off it, click on it once, and then just hit the delete key. Not the backspace key, the delete key, 2 different keys. So yeah, I just selected all the data, threw it at the chart, seen what came back at me, then realised it wasn't really what I was looking for. But that's not really how to create a chart. Just throw data at it and keep throwing data at it till you find out the best one, what it looks like. If I wanted to see the totals for all fruits for the first quarter, well, what I'm looking for is I need the fruit names. Yeah, and I need the totals for the fruit, because this total here is January, February, March combined. So when I select the headings, if you watch, and then I try and select the totals, it cancels out the headings. One range cancels out the range after it. So I'm going to use the control key. Don't get into the habit of using the control key for every range. If you're looking for data that is in 2 columns and it's together, fair enough, just highlight it in the one go, no control key required. It's when I start having to make up ranges to match each other, then I use the control key for the second one onwards. So let's say these 2 columns I wanted weren't together, like this one and this one. So I would select that one without the control key. Now I'm holding down the control key and I would select the second one. Yeah, another wee tip. When you're selecting ranges for a chart, it should always make a rectangle. Yeah, it shouldn't be like one here and then like one here. Yeah, lopsided. You should always make a rectangle. No control key for the first one, then control key. If you're only ever doing one range, like I dragged out all these, you'll never use the control key. It's only when you need to do 2 separate ranges, the control key for the second and the third and fourth if there is 3 or 4 ranges. So back to what I was talking about. I want these as headings because I want to see the names of the fruits in the charts without typing them. And then I'm holding down the control key and I'm selecting the totals for these fruits. If you look, I've made a rectangle. This was the second range I selected, and the first cell in a range is always left white. I have no idea why. I can only think that it's letting you know this was where the anchor point is, where the first point of that range is. But I always say you could just look at the top left or bottom left corner and find that out. But anyway, that's why that one's left white, but it is part of this range and it does make a rectangle. Now watch, if I go and insert a chart, column chart, I've only got 1 bar now for each. I've got apples, and I've got this one bar here, which is that figure, the total for the month, which is January, February, March combined. So this chart looks a bit better than having 3 bars for each foot. The reason we use charts or graphs is because it's a graphic representation of numbers of a data set. So if the chart's complicated, it's meant to make looking at a set of data easier. If the chart's complicated, it's not really making the job much easier. You still have to look and go, well, I need to get January, February, March, join them together and find out how much I've made in apples in the first quarter. No. But if somebody wanted specific months, let's say, let me kill that chart. Let's say somebody wanted to find out all the fruits and just the prices for February. Then to make the rectangle, I want to include the month February in it. Now, normally I would do this. There's a couple of ways I can do this. I'll show you a couple of ways. A chart should stand on its own 2 feet. And what that means is when someone shows you a chart, even if you don't know the subject matter, you should not have to ask any questions. All the information should be on the chart. It's a visual representation of numbers. So normally I would select the headings. And if I wanted the figures for February, I would just select figures for February. Cool. And then I would insert the chart. Nowhere have I got the word February in here, which means I'm going to have to type it. But yeah, I think I'll do that in a heading in the chart. Let me see. I'll see what one works best and what one works out easier. So if I insert the chart, I've got the names of the fruit here. I've got the figures, but I don't know when the figures are for. So in the chart title, I could say fruit sales for February. So this chart stands on its own 2 feet. I've got a heading, which tells me what I've got here, fruit sales for February. Here's the fruits. Values up the side tells me how much I've spent or how much money I've made from selling them, sorry, for each fruit. A couple of other things I can do. Watch, if I click on this chart, I get a plus sign. This wee plus sign appears. I want to put on axis titles. Now watch, when I click it, I get an axis title here, which is called the x-axis, and I get an axis title here, which is the y-axis. And it allows us to make the chart, explain it a bit more. Take that back off. So the x-axis would be fruit sold, and y-axis would be February sales, or something like that. I made a mistake typing, but you know what I mean. One more thing I like about charts is when I put them on a separate page. Not what I like about them, what I like to do with them. If you see down the bottom here, I've got start, middle, and complete. 3 sheets that we done I did last week for this spreadsheet. You created one. I'm going to right click on this chart, and one of the options is move chart. Now, sometimes you won't see move chart, but if I click here, move chart isn't there. See that? And if I right click here, I don't get move chart. So there's various hotspots on that chart. That square, if we go outside of it, there's this white area. Now watch, if I right click inside that square, no move chart. If I right click outside of it, I get a different menu. Context sensitive menus, where you click, they can change. Hotspots, I call them. So move chart, where do I want to move it? I want to move it as a new sheet, and I'm going to call it, if I want to have a better name, column chart, fruit sales. I'm using too many letters, am I? Yeah. So, fruit sales, February. That'll do. It's good to see me making mistakes. Then you'll understand what's happening when you make them too. Now, do I want it as an object in this sheet? Well, that's what it is already. So no, I don't want that. I want it as a new sheet. I want a sheet of its own down here at the bottom. So, okay, that new sheet. And as you can see now it's put it in the middle of start, middle, and complete. You can just drag these tabs about. I'm just dragging this over here. I like to have my worksheets here and my charts on the right-hand side. So this chart, like I say, stands on its own 2 feet. These labels are a bit small. Can I make them a bit bigger? Let me see if I can grab it. Let me highlight it and just, all I'm doing is clicking the big icon button, make the font size bigger. And I can't spell February, you get the idea. And here, again, same. And the x-axis. Let me explain about x and y-axis as well, because they change depending on what chart you use. X is at the bottom here, which is 0 in the column. If this column here is like, what does that say, 10,000 or just under 10,000, then the bottom's 0. Yeah, so all the bottoms here, the bottom row is 0 for these graphs. That's where the x-axis goes. The y-axis is always up there, the values going up the side. It changes if I click on the chart, go to chart design. Click there, I want to select chart type, here we go. If I choose a bar chart, now if you look, there's a column with the x-axis at the bottom and the y-axis at the side. If I choose bar, you'll see now the x-axis is at the side and the y-axis is at the bottom. Look, now because this is a bar chart, 0 is now here. The x-axis is always 0. Yeah, and the y-axis is the opposite. Yeah. Other things we can do. Chart styles. This, if you can't be bothered formatting a chart, will allow you to select pre-made charts that are look the part. They'll leave everything intact, like your headings, the data, but it just formats it a bit for you, makes it look a bit nicer. It's up to you what you prefer. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. You can format all these things yourself too. But if you don't like a chart or a sheet, right click on it, delete it. Right, let's get a chart and you guys create this chart too. You're going to have this spreadsheet, guys, and then you're going to have a few sheets after it with charts involved. So this is the first chart I want you to make. I want to have all fruits and I want the totals for the second quarter. So for me to create that, I need all fruits, so there's the headings, and I need the headings, the totals for the second quarter. I'm holding down the control key now. Second quarter. Let me choose a 3D, go to insert, because I'm going to insert something into the spreadsheet. And I'm going to insert this time 3D. Now let me explain this wee window to you. If you notice, some of these columns are just single colour and some of them are double coloured. See that? Same with the 3D, single colour in each column, and then you've got double colours in each column. You're always going to choose from the left-hand row. Look, bar chart, single, single, column, single, single. You're never going to choose any from those 2 or 3 or more, because these are what we call stacked charts, which is get 2 data sets inside each column or bar. So we're only just going to choose one data set per column or bar. So I'm going to choose 3D this time. Then I am going to add my axis titles. Give me more options, primary, horizontal, primary, vertical, whatever. Just stick on the axis titles, so I'll ignore that for now. Right, I've not put any axis titles or a chart title in yet, so my first thing I'm going to do is my title. And it is fruit sales, second quarter. Good enough label. And this here is going to be, rather than fruit sold, I'm going to say fruit names. Names without the Z. And this one, sales, how much money we've made. Now I'm going to kill this window that appears. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to move the chart to a new sheet and I'm going to call it second quarter sales or fruit sales. Yeah, good enough. So now I'm just going to move it to the right. So there's the first chart I want you to create, second quarter fruit sales. Right, what other can we do? Rather than going above and below, like we've been doing here, let's now do it for some months. Let's say I wanted a chart that was going to give me third quarter figures by month. So this is the third quarter, and these are the months. Now, yeah, I could do this and highlight all this, and that would give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It would give me 8 columns or bars per month. So no, that's going to be a messy chart, really busy, nightmare to read. I'm going to select the months without the control key. Then I'm going to use the control key and select these 3 totals. This time I'm going to insert a bar chart. 3D bar, I like 3D charts. Again, I'm going to click the plus sign and add in my axis titles. Heading, important, tells us what the chart's about. Third quarter sales by month. Perfect. Y-axis for the sales. Remember, it's the y-axis because it's bars on the line on the side. So the x-axis is always 0. And the x-axis is going to be, I mean, I could put third quarter months in here, but I've got third quarter sales by month at the top. So it's just months. I spelled that correctly. It looks a bit dodgy. That seems okay. And the last thing I'm going to do, right click, move chart to a new sheet, and I'm going to name it third quarter sales month. Well, enough space for putting the word by in. Oh yeah, getting it. Okay, move it up to the right. So 2 charts you should have made. Second quarter fruit sales, third quarter sales by month. This one's by the names of the fruit, that one's by the months in the third quarter. This is looking a bit, let me take this away. These labels are looking a bit small, so I'm going to, can I control click these? Let me see. No, can I shift click them, see if I can select them all at the same time? No, one at a time. So click on it, back to the home tab, make the font bigger. Same here. And same for sales. The actual values under that big either. It should select them as a block. Yeah, it does. Bigger. Not that big, but it's going to. Can I stretch this? No. Let me see something in a minute. Can I? I'm trying to see if I can resize this somehow. No. Let me just select something nice now. Yeah, quite like that. See what that did when it reformats the chart and selected the axes again. So I would select the style you want first and then resize, because if you resize the letters first and then select the style like I did, the letters jump back, they get reformatted back to the small size. So yeah, select one of these styles first if you want to, and then resize. Can I resize these labels too? Yeah. Nice. So second chart, third quarter sales by month. Let me go back to the spreadsheet and see what else I can see. Sometimes you may get into a situation where the data you want for a chart is not sitting next to each other. Yeah. Let's say I wanted this figure, which is the figure for all sales for quarter 1, and I want this quarter 1 heading as well. And I want the same for quarter 2. Now, I could go here and then control key select here, and then that heading, and then that figure, and then that heading. I'm using the control key still, and that, and fourth quarter total. This should be a bag of spanners if I try and insert this as a chart. It's not a rectangle, it breaks all the rules. Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, it doesn't know what to do. I don't even know these. I've got the 4 figures, but I've got 8 in the legend. No, that's not what I'm looking for. So if you get in a situation where the data that you want to use is not sitting next to each other, do this. Let me shrink this a wee bit so I can get some space over here. I held down the control key and used the rolly wheel on my mouse to zoom in and out. I just want some space. So I want that heading. So I'm going to hold down the control key, go to the edge of it. When I've clicked on it to select it, control key, then go to the edge of it, take a copy of it, put it there. Same with that one. Third quarter. Fourth quarter. Now I want that figure, copy for the first quarter. That one, copy for the second quarter. Why is that not going in? Let me try it another way. It's moving the formula. In fact, let me try and show you what it's doing. This is the sum of K4 to K6. When I move this, It's now the sum of N2 to N4. Because I'm moving it to another cell, it's trying to increment the formula to suit like when you use autofill. That's why that's failing here. So I'm thinking I can't be bothered fixing the formula, so I'm just going to try something else. I'm going to say that cell there equals, and I'm just going to hit the equals key and click on that. Jamming. Right. The second one equals month 2, click on it, enter. The third one equals Q3 total, click on it, enter. And the fourth one equals Q4 total, click on it, enter. So now I've got the 4 quarters, the names. Let me just make sure they're all bold when they're not. There we go. And I've got the figures. I can now just do this. Highlight that. Insert. Let me go for a pie chart this time. 3D pie chart. And I'm quite happy it's created itself here. A couple of things wrong. My title. So total sales for quarters. Happy with that. The legend here is telling me first quarter is the blue one, second quarter is the red one, third quarter is the green one, and the fourth quarter is the purple one. But it's not telling me what the figures are. So, data labels. Now, if I click on it once, or just move over it, you see it's putting the data labels right inside the pie, or the sections of the chart, the wedges, the pie. What do you call them when you play Trivial Pursuit? I don't know. Wedges, sections. If I click on that little black triangle next to data labels, I get where do I want them. And I like outside end, because it puts them just outside. So now I've got the figures just outside the sections. I'm happy with that. You can go away now. I've got my heading, I've got my legend, I've got my values in, right click, and see I right clicked in the wrong place there. I right click inside the chart area, outside there, move chart. New sheet, pie chart, 4 quarter totals. That's the third chart that I want you to make. Oh, the legends went really small, so let's click on that and just go home and up the size of the font. The labels, same, make them bigger, and maybe I'll join in with the heading too. I'll leave it out. Total sales, 4 quarters. Yeah, I'm happy. No, I'm not happy. It doesn't tell me anywhere that I'm selling fruit. So I'm changing the heading. Fruit market. Oh, excuse my typing. Fruit market. Total sales, 4 quarters. I'm happier with that. What else can you do with charts that I can show you? Let me jump on the internet a minute and watch Apple. Apple official site. No, I want images of an apple. Here we go, Apple. Right click. Save image as, and I'll just stick it in my desktop, call it Apple. Now, when I go back to this chart, choose one of these, right click, format, that's the data point. Format data point, fair enough. Fill, this one. Fill. Picture or texture fill. Picture source. Now, look, it's choosing a picture or texture, so it's selecting one of the textures that it's got. Look, textures. There it's filled with crumpled paper, whatever use that is. Yeah, you can fill it with marble, bubbles, whatever. But if I insert from a file on my desktop, Apple, insert, Apple becomes part of the pie chart. Yeah, that CD spreadsheet that we've done, when I usually do that in class, we sometimes put some of the album covers inside the sections of the charts. But, so, you've got this spreadsheet. I want you to create that column chart, second quarter fruit sales. I want you to create third quarter sales by month. So third quarter, we've got the months, September, August and July. I'll make these a bit bigger. or July, August, September, if you want in the right order. And this last one, pie chart. Get over there. Pie chart, 4 quarter totals, which is quarter 1 total, quarter 2 total, quarter 3 total, quarter 4 total. And remember, I had to make a separate little table for that because the data was not sitting next to each other for me to gather and collect. I wanted that chart, 1 quarter with each total next to it. Sorry, 4 quarters with each total next to it. I couldn't make it, so I created another table so that I could make the chart. Yeah, sometimes that needs to be done. Once you're finished with this, I want you to drop it into the exercises Dropbox. Cheers, guys. I'll call it a quit. I'll call it quits for now and stop here. I'll catch you in the next tutorial.